all-out war on the American dollar. We must protect the position of the American dollar as a pillar of monetary stability around the world. I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States. In full cooperation with the International Monetary Fund and those who trade with us, we will press for the necessary reforms to set up an urgently needed new international monetary system. The United States has always been and will continue to be a forward-looking and trustworthy trading partner.
Our journey begins at the dawn of currency, the prototype for democracy and cradle for civilization, Athens, Greece. Athens was the first society to have a functioning tax system, much like that adopted by the United States. This enabled them to rise to the pinnacle of civilization, creating enormous works of art, and achieve a level of architecture and engineering the world had never seen. So what went wrong? How did such a great and powerful civilization fall? Too much greed and too much war. Beginning when the Athenians got involved in the Peloponnesian Wars with Sparta. Athens deflated their economy by funding their armies fighting the war. The Athenians began mixing 50% copper into their gold coins, doubling all currency within their economy. This can also be referred to as deficit spending. Athens also created great public works in the form of statues and temples, never healing their economy between wars, much like the United States, beginning as early as 1933. Eventually, it took multiple copper coins to even buy a gold or silver coin. Large factors which contributed to the downfall of Athens was the expensive war, expansion of empire, the debasement of their currency, and hyperinflation, which crushed their economy. And in 404 BC, they eventually surrendered to Sparta, becoming nothing more than an annex of Rome. Next, let's look at monetary history in relation to war within the United States. The U.S. didn't even enter World War I until almost 4 years after the conflict began. Same thing with World War II. Hitler began saber rattling in 1936, annexed Australia in 1938, and invaded Poland in 1939. Pearl Harbor wasn't until the end of 1941.
A date which will live in infamy.
We didn't have troops on the ground until August 1942. During these periods, the U.S. sold its allies consumer goods, collecting massive gold profits. This is where America developed the myth that war is good for the economy. War is only good for the economy when you're not in it and you're selling the tools of the trade. By the end of World War II, the U.S. held 2/3 of the world's gold. The world economy had no other choice but to back their currencies with the U.S. dollar, and the dollar backed by gold. This created the Bretton Woods system, which carries no reserve ratio, allowing the U.S. to expand its currency supply with virtually no limits. In 1965, Charles de Gaulle, the president of France, realizes America doesn't hold enough gold to back up its U.S. dollars and demands its gold back.
Le fait que beaucoup d'États acceptent par principe des dollars au même titre que de l'or, ce fait entraîne les Américains à s'endetter et à s'endetter gratuitement vis-à-vis de l'étranger, car ce qu'ils doivent avec des dollars, il ne tient qu'à eux d'émettre, nous estimons nécessaire. que les échanges internationaux soient établis comme c'était le cas avant les grands malheurs du monde, sur une base monétaire indiscutable et qui ne porte la marque d'aucun pays en particulier. Quelle base? En vérité, on ne voit pas qu'il puisse y avoir réellement de critères, des talons autres que l'or.
Other countries saw this and also began asking for their gold. Between 1959 and 1971, the U.S. lost almost 50% of its gold, leaving it with 12 times more dollars than gold, forcing President Nixon to place the dollar on a new standard, ushering in the new age of oil.